Have you ever wondered what would happen if the United States imposed a trade war against the Philippines? It's a question that might seem out of left field, but it's one that could have significant implications for both nations and the world at large. At its core, a trade war is a battle of economies, a tit-for-tat exchange of tariffs, quotas, and embargoes. It's a high-stakes game of economic chess, where the board is the global marketplace and the pieces are industries and goods, but like any war, it's not without its casualties. Businesses can crumble, jobs can be lost, and economies can falter. Now, let's take a closer look at the players in our hypothetical scenario. On one side, we have the United States, a global superpower with an economy built on services, technology, and manufacturing. On the other, we have the Philippines, a developing country with an economy heavily reliant on agriculture, remittances, and a burgeoning service sector. The economic relationship between these two nations is a complex web of imports and exports, investments, and aid. The United States is one of the Philippines' largest trading partners, with billions of dollars worth of goods flowing between the two nations each year. American companies have significant investments in the Philippines, and the U.S. is a major source of remittances for the Philippine economy. However, in our hypothetical scenario, this relationship is turned on its head. The United States imposes a trade war, introducing tariffs and quotas that make it more expensive and difficult for the Philippines to export its goods. In response, the Philippines may retaliate with its own measures, disrupting the flow of goods and money between the two nations. So, what factors would come into play if this trade war were to occur? How would it impact the economies of both nations? What would be the ripple effects on the global stage? And, perhaps most importantly, who stands to lose and perhaps gain from such a conflict? These are the questions we'll explore in the coming scenes. So, stick around and keep wondering. How might such a trade war impact the economies of both nations? A question that looms large, isn't it? To answer this, let's delve into the world of economics, the realm of imports and exports, tariffs and trade agreements. Imagine a scenario where the United States imposes hefty tariffs on goods imported from the Philippines. This would make Philippine products more expensive in the U.S. market. On the flip side, it could potentially discourage American consumers from buying these goods, leading to a significant dip in sales for Philippine exporters. This could have a ripple effect, causing the Philippine economy to take a hit with potential job losses and business closures. But it's not just the Philippines that would feel the sting. The U.S. economy could also face repercussions. The United States imports a variety of goods from the Philippines, including electronics, machinery, clothing, and food products. With the imposition of tariffs, these goods would become more expensive for American businesses and consumers, leading to an increase in the cost of goods and services. The U.S. import industry could also suffer a blow, as businesses may be forced to source products from other countries, potentially at a higher cost. Moreover, American exporters could face retaliation. The Philippines might impose its own set of tariffs on U.S. goods, making them pricier and less competitive in the Philippine market. This could lead to a decrease in sales for American exporters, impacting industries ranging from agriculture to manufacturing. But let's not forget that economies are complex creatures, and the effects of a trade war can be far-reaching and unpredictable. In the long term, both nations could experience slower economic growth, as businesses struggle to adapt to the new trade environment and consumers grapple with higher prices. So it's clear that a trade war could have significant economic ramifications for both nations, but the story doesn't end here. Beyond the world of economics, there are other, perhaps even more profound impacts to consider. But what about the people? How would they be affected? Let's explore that in our next chapter. What could be the potential social consequences of this trade war? Let's delve into that. A trade war of such magnitude would ripple across society, touching every life in some way. Job loss would be an immediate and devastating effect. The Philippines, depending heavily on exports to the United States, would see factory closures and layoffs as demand drops. This would result in increased unemployment, pushing more families below the poverty line. The social fabric of the country might begin to fray as people struggle to make ends meet. Poverty can lead to increased crime rates, social unrest, and general instability. Imagine a society where the struggle for survival becomes the main preoccupation. overshadowing the pursuit of happiness, education, and personal growth. But it's not just about economic hardship. This trade war could also strain the nation's social services. With more people out of work, the demand for government assistance would rise. However, with a decrease in tax revenue from businesses, the government might struggle to meet this demand, leading to a potential crisis in social welfare. And let's not forget the political ramifications. Trade wars are not just economic battles, they're political ones too. The diplomatic relations between the United States and the Philippines could sour, leading to a breakdown in communication and cooperation. This could affect everything from travel to cultural exchange, creating a rift between the two nations that extends beyond the economic sphere. The social impact of a trade war is far-reaching and profound. The ripple effects touch every aspect of life, from the economy to politics, from individual livelihoods to the health of the nation as a whole. It's a sobering reminder of how interconnected our world is and how a decision made in one corner of the globe can reverberate in another. But trade wars don't happen in a vacuum. What about the global implications? What could be the ripple effects of this trade war on the global stage? Let's paint a picture. The United States and the Philippines, two nations once bound by a shared history, are now locked in a trade war. The implications of such a scenario aren't confined within their borders. No, it's a domino effect that could potentially shake the world. Think about it. The United States, a titan of the global economy, and the Philippines, an emerging Asian power, are both significant players on the world stage. Their standoff could create tremors that resonate far beyond their shores. We're talking about global markets here. The U.S. and the Philippines are interconnected with the world through a complex web of supply chains. A trade war could disrupt these chains, leading to a ripple effect. Prices on goods could fluctuate, economies could stagger, and international trade could take a hit. And let's not forget about international relations. A trade war isn't just an economic battle, it's a political one too. Other countries could find themselves caught in the crossfire. Some might have to choose sides, aligning themselves with either the U.S. or the Philippines. This could strain diplomatic relations and potentially ignite political tension. But it's not just about taking sides. Some nations could be indirectly affected. For instance, countries that rely on Filipino manpower might experience a drain in their workforce. On the other hand, those who depend on American goods might see a rise in import costs. The reality is, in our globalized world, no country is an island. We're all connected in one way or another. Consequently, a trade war between the U.S. and the Philippines could send shockwaves across the globe, impacting economies, politics, and societies in ways we might not even foresee. As we delve deeper into this hypothetical situation, one can't help but wonder, could such a scenario have any silver linings? Are there any potential positives that could emerge from the ashes of a trade war? But could there be any positive outcomes from such a scenario? Could there be any potential benefits or opportunities arising from this trade war, you might ask? Well, let's consider a few possibilities. In the face of adversity, nations often discover new strengths and opportunities. This trade war could stimulate domestic industries in both the United States and the Philippines, as they strive to fill the gaps left by the absence of imported goods. Equally, other nations or industries might find opportunities to step in. They could potentially offer similar goods and services, seizing the chance to expand their markets and increase their international presence. Moreover, such a situation could pave the way for new trade alliances and partnerships. Nations previously overshadowed by the United States or the Philippines might find room to negotiate beneficial trade agreements. So while a trade war undoubtedly brings challenges, it also opens up the playing field and stirs up the status quo. As we've seen, the consequences of a trade war between the United States and the Philippines could be far-reaching and complex. So, what have we learned from this exploration of a hypothetical U.S.-Philippines trade war? We've journeyed through a landscape of economic impacts, social consequences, and global reverberations, all stemming from the mere possibility of a trade war between these two nations. It's clear that such a scenario would not be as simple as flipping a switch. Instead, it would set off a chain of events that could echo across the globe. Consider the economic implications we discussed. A trade war could potentially disrupt the flow of goods between the United States and the Philippines, affecting industries ranging from agriculture to electronics. This could lead to increased prices for consumers, job losses in certain sectors, and a potential slowdown in economic growth. On the social front, we've seen how a trade war could exacerbate income inequality, as the burden of increased costs and job losses often falls disproportionately on the lower income segments of society. This could lead to increased social tension and potential political instability. We've also delved into the global consequences. The ripple effects of a U.S.-Philippines trade war could reach far beyond the borders of these two nations, affecting international trade dynamics and potentially triggering a domino effect of retaliatory measures among other countries. Yet, amidst the potential turmoil, we also unearthed potential silver linings. A trade war could spur innovation and self-reliance as countries look for ways to overcome trade barriers and diversify their economies. In conclusion, the potential impacts of a hypothetical U.S.-Philippines trade war are far-reaching and complex. It's a stark reminder of how interconnected our world has become, where a shift in trade policy between two nations can ripple across oceans, affecting lives and economies in ways we may not even anticipate. While this is all hypothetical, it highlights the interconnected nature of our global economy. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Keep wondering and see you in the next video. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.